Good evening, everyone. I'm Kevin Kopp, and welcome to Temple Football's Signing Day Live. Over the course of the next hour, we're going to get to update you on the newest class of Temple signees out of high school, out of junior college, and out of the transfer portal as we look ahead to the 2024 season. We're going to be joined by Temple Offensive Coordinator Danny Langsdorf, Temple Defensive Coordinator Everett Withers, and Temple Special Teams Coordinator Adam Shire. And of course, we'll get to hear from the head coach of the Temple Owls, who will join us later in the hour, Stan Drayton. So stand by for all of that. But we're going to start by getting to introduce the newest class of Temple signees to you, and we'll begin on the defensive side of the ball. Let's take a look. We'll begin with the defensive linemen, starting with Sultan Badmas, 6'3", 235, out of Bowie High School in Bowie, Maryland. Played linebacker and tight end, but projects here for Temple as a defensive lineman. In his senior season, he played 11 games with 58 tackles, 44 solo tackles, 16 tackles for loss, and 14 sacks. At the tight end position, a two-way player who had a catch for a 32-yard touchdown also served as the kicker and punter at Bowie. Next up at defensive line, Cameron Jones, 6'5", 230, out of Leonardtown, Maryland, St. Mary's Riken High. He was a defensive lineman there for head coach Gary Wynn, earned honorable mention all-conference as a sophomore, improved to second team as a junior, and then first team honors as a senior. They bounced back from an 0-5 start to win 7 straight games and the 2023 WCAC Metro title. Cameron, also a two-sport letter winner, lettered twice in basketball, in addition to his success at defensive line for St. Mary's Riken. Seiku Chroma, a defensive lineman at the JUCO level, originally from East Orange, New Jersey, played at East Orange High School, and then Monroe College in the JUCO ranks. He comes in as a junior, played defensive line at Monroe College in New Rochelle, New York. He had 20 career tackles for loss, which is the most in Monroe College program history, and his 2023 total in tackles for loss placed him 8th among junior college players in the nation. He played 11 games in 2023, had 38 tackles, 23 solo tackles, 15 and a half tackles for loss, 2 sacks, and 1 fumble recovery. Dman Lacy, another defensive lineman and another player with JUCO experience, coming from Northwest Mississippi. He is originally from Bartlett, Tennessee, 6'4", 290. He was a defensive tackle at Northwest Mississippi after 2 years at Murray State. He played in 10 games last season, registered 15 tackles and 3.5 sacks. In the year before, he played 6 games, collecting 5 tackles and 1 sack, adding some depth to Temple's incoming class of defensive linemen. Now we'll move to the linebacker position, beginning with Tyler Lapolo. The linebacker is a redshirt sophomore, another JUCO guy out of the City College of San Francisco, originally hailing from Oakley, California, 6 foot, 230 pounds. Played at the JUCO level a couple of seasons for head coach Jimmy Collins and enters as a redshirt sophomore. In 2023, he played in 11 games, had a whopping 67 tackles, including 31 solo tackles with 3 tackles for loss, 2 interceptions, and 1 fumble recovery. He was unanimously selected to the Bay 6 All-League team and had a season-best 9 tackles in a game this season versus Butte. At the linebacker position, Kaden Serin, who comes in as a redshirt junior after some JUCO experience at Mount San Antonio Community College. He originally hails from Upland, California. Serin, 6'2", 235. He spent a year as a walk-on at Colorado in 2021, so some Power 5 experience before transferring to the JUCO level at Mount San Antonio. In 2023, as a redshirt sophomore, he played in 11 games, registered 45 tackles, 4.5 tackles for loss, and a sack. The year before that, as a redshirt freshman, he was the team leader with 44 tackles, had 4 tackles for loss, and 1 sack that season as well. And we'll move into the secondary now with Denzel Chavis, who's a 6 foot, 180-pound cornerback out of Union City, New Jersey, and Union City High School, where he played cornerback, quarterback, running back, and wide receiver for head coach Wilbur Valdez. He was named first team All-Super Football Conference as both a junior and a senior, and a multi-sport athlete who also participated in track all 4 seasons and earned all-county recognition in that sport as well. Keeping it at the defensive back position, Adrien Lang, another cornerback, 6'1", 170, and another from the state of New Jersey, North Bergen, Paramus Catholic, where he was a two-way player, cornerback, and wide receiver for head coach Greg Russo. At the cornerback position, he collected 61 tackles, 52 solo tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and 1 interception in his senior season. He was named first-team All-County and All-League as a junior when he had 4 interceptions as well as 43 tackles, 34 of those solo tackles, and 2 tackles for loss. He also was a 3-time letter winner in track and field. Also in the defensive backfield for Temple, coming out of Northeast Oklahoma A&M, a couple seasons of JUCO ball, he'll enter as a junior, Devonte Owens. 6 foot, 185 pounds, originally hailing from Tulsa, Oklahoma. He played in 2023 at Northeast Oklahoma A&M, where he earned honorable mention all-conference honors in a season in which he recorded 38 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and 3 interceptions. Before that, in 2022, he was at Garden City, another JUCO powerhouse, recording 8 tackles across 9 games. So those are the high school and JUCO signees for Temple, also adding some depth on the defensive side of the ball out of the transfer portal. Linebacker from NC State, Torrin Wright. Defensive back from Alabama State, Adrian Maddox. Defensive back from Western Carolina, Andreas Keaton. Defensive back out of Arkansas, Jalen Lewis. And a defensive back out of UTEP, Torrey Richardson. Now to the offensive side of the ball, and we begin on the offensive line in the trenches with Evan Daly out of Gahanna, Ohio, Gahanna-Lincoln High School, 6'5", 275. He played both offensive and defensive line at the high school level for head coach Bruce Ward. He helped the team win the Ohio Capital Conference in both his junior and senior seasons. In his senior season, in which the team at Gahanna-Lincoln went undefeated, he did not allow a sack and was also named a first-team Scholar Athlete. He earned the Most Improved Player award as a freshman, also competed in track and field at the high school level, and is a 4-year honor roll student with a 4.0 GPA. Continuing on the offensive line, someone with both international and junior college experience is Lars Lindberg. He enters as a redshirt sophomore, 6'4", 275 pounds, originally hailing from Karlskoga, Sweden, and played at the College of the Canyons for 2 seasons at the JUCO level. He enters as a redshirt sophomore. Played defensive tackle as a freshman and then was moved to the offensive line to play offensive tackle in his sophomore season. Another player for Temple out of the JUCO level at College of the Canyons, Mousa Pao, a junior, 6'4", 330 pounds, originally out of Valencia, California, played 2 seasons at College of the Canyons, and was first-team All-Conference both times in the 2022 and 2023 seasons. Mousa Pao rounding out the offensive line incoming signing class for Temple. At the running back position with JUCO experience from the College of San Francisco is Tyrie Washington. Washington, 5'10", 210 pounds. He'll enter as a junior, originally from Stockton, California. He played 2 seasons at the College of San Francisco at both running back and kick returner. Both seasons he was there, he was named All Bay 6 Conference. In 2022, he played in 10 games, rushing the ball 90 times for 472 yards and 3 touchdowns. He also added 9 catches out of the backfield for 17 yards and averaged a whopping 28 yards on 15 kickoff returns. From the College of San Francisco to North Broad, Tyrie Washington joining the Owls at running back. At the wide receiver position, Bryson Goodwin, 6'2", 180 pounds, and continues a lineage of Temple wide receivers out of the state of Florida. He played at Jesuit High School for head coach Matt Thompson in the Tampa area. Goodwin in his high school career had over 60 pass catches. As a senior, he caught 18 passes for 299 yards and 3 touchdowns. He was a two-way player. At cornerback, he made 23 tackles and had an interception, and was named the team's most valuable receiver as a junior when he had 27 catches for 513 yards and 5 touchdowns. Tyler Stewart, a wide receiver out of Gray, Georgia, Jones County High School, 5'9", 170 pounds, was a wide receiver at Jones County in his senior season. He had 1,265 receiving yards, and the year before that at Jones County as a junior, he had 1,275. So back-to-back 1,200-plus yards receiving seasons for Tyler Stewart, capping off his high school career, coming in as an incoming freshman to Temple out of the state of Georgia. Rounding things out on the offense at tight end, Temple welcomes Daniel Evert out of Regensburg, Germany as an incoming freshman, and out of the transfer portal, Rutgers quarterback Evan Simon. Last but not least for this incoming class, Maddox Trujillo, an incoming kicker out of the transfer portal from Austin Peay. I'm now joined by Temple offensive coordinator Danny Langsdorf. Coach, thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, good to be here.
Great to have you, and obviously congratulations on the success of this incoming signing class. We've had the chance to introduce the folks watching at home to each of the signees, but I think getting your perspective on them, obviously on the offensive side of the ball, will be incredibly valuable. Before we dig into that, just want to talk about the group overall. Obviously, one of the themes tonight is, as this staff has another year of familiarity, of comfort, of building these types of relationships, you get to be a little bit more targeted in who you're looking for, what you need to bring in. How did you approach that from the offensive side of the ball in terms of what this program needed coming in this season?
Yeah, we're trying to upgrade and fill some holes. You know, you lose some kids in the portal. You get a kid that maybe, whether it's academics or whatever the reason he leaves. So you got to replace some kids. But we also didn't have a huge class. You know, we had a few spots to fill offensively, but we wanted to try to upgrade at the line. We looked for a running back or two, a couple receivers, need to have a couple needs at quarterback, and really one at tight end. So it wasn't a huge class, but feel really good about the kids that we were able to land.
All right, well, let's jump right into it, and let's start in a place where you can't have too much depth, where you have brought in a lot of guys, and that's on the offensive line, and we'll start with Evan Daly.
Yeah, just a really athletic kid that shows some toughness and some grit, and we're excited about him. I think that the fact that he's been on campus a few times, he really had a lot of excitement about this place, and he loved being around, coming to practice, and it's good. We're excited to get him.
Two players, both teammates at College of the Canyons, both at the JUCO level. Lars Lindberg by way of Sweden, and then Mousa Pao by way of California, both coming here.
Yeah, we've got, we're getting quite a bit of these European kids that have been through our program, especially in the offensive line. But those two we identified early. Mousa's a big Tongan kid that's got a lot of strength and power. Linus is probably a little bit more athletic, but we like both of those kids and the fact that they can help us and come in right away and compete. So a good couple junior college gets that we needed to have here for mid-year.
How about another guy from the JUCO level at the running back position, and that would be Tyrie Washington?
Yeah, Tyrie's a little bit more powerful, a little bit more physical runner. So you kind of have a little bit different style, which is nice to have, a backfield that you can do different things with, whether it's a short yardage back or a goal line or a kid that you can get on the perimeter,
All right, let's move out to the perimeter now at the wide receiver position. A couple of high school signees coming in, beginning with Bryson Goodwin.
Yeah, Tampa kid that comes from a football family. He's actually played both receiver and corner, and so athletic-wise, he's a returner. He's going to be an exciting player.
And another one out of the South coming up here at the wide receiver position would be Tyler Stewart from Georgia.
Yeah, Tyler had just crazy production in high school. A lot of touchdowns and catches, and for many yards. Every week we get his stats and his highlights, and he's a playmaker.
All right, well, you mentioned the international flavor that has been a long-standing feature of this roster, and it's fitting that we get to bookend it with another international guy, and that is out of Germany at the tight end position, Daniel Evert.
Yeah, we've continued to go across the pond to get some kids, and another one, German kid that had come to our camp and really performed well. So I think you've got a guy that can run routes and block. He's versatile that way. Probably will be kind of a move guy at that tight end position.
All right, well, looking at the class overall and obviously the pieces that you bring back, as we head into the offseason, Paul Palmer on our radio broadcast is always fond of saying, to be successful on offense, you need 11 guys clicking in the same direction. Defense, one guy can come out there, make a play, and make everyone look good. But obviously that extra time now going into this season is going to be critical for this side of the ball. What are the big needs in terms of what you're looking to address, what you're looking to see by the time we roll around to 2024 when this team's out on the field?
Well, we've got to get some of these kids up to speed. And that happens through spring. We're really winter conditioning and spring ball. But we've just got to continue to execute, and that's going to be a big theme coming into spring. We're playing against our defense all the time, so that's what everybody does in the springtime is you're kind of banging against the same guys. But we just want to get these guys up to speed within our system and be able to execute at a high level. We're going to have a good competition at quarterback. And really, we're developing a lot of competition at different spots. So I think that is healthy. I think that's good for us because you get guys competing, having to work, knowing that they're going to have a tough battle every day at practice.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for your time here amidst the craziness of this season to come break it all down for us, and best of luck as you move forward.
Appreciate it.
All right, that's Danny Langsdorf joining us here on Signing Day Live. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to check in with defensive coordinator Everett Withers and get to hear about the defensive signees for Temple. But first, we check in with a rising freshman offensive lineman, Kevin Smithwick, who brings a unique experience with him to Temple. Let's take a look.
Yeah, at first, I definitely did think of college football, but then we had this little Marine day. Marines came in, they flew the Ospreys onto the field and stuff like that. And I just, did all their games, did the pull-up challenge, and I was like, yeah, that was kind of fun. And then I put my name down, and the recruiter ended up reaching out, and after that, I just kind of went with it. I went to Hawaii, so I was stationed out there. And basically, I was a comm guy, so ground radio repair. I worked on radios, fixed radios. I learned as much as I can of what the radio guys themselves, like the operators, were doing, so that I can do my job better. And we would do a lot of work like that. I was always prepping for deployments or helping the battalions get ready for deployments and stuff like that. And I was like, man, I could go play football. Let's go do it, And all my friends were like, oh, it's great, and they kind of just had the support behind me, and I was like, yeah, why not? And then as time started winding down, things started to change, and I was like, I think it's time to get out and go do this.
Well, he's a Marine, so the number one thing he's bringing is discipline. He's bringing the unselfish, deeds that a Marine brings on a daily basis to their country, our country. And so that right there, sense of brotherhood, the camaraderie, the sense of family, working not for ourselves, working for a big picture is something that we build this program around. And when you bring Kevin into the picture, he's already got that instilled in him, So that's one less person that you have to build from the ground up. He's going to help you build from where he is and help, accelerate that development amongst the football team.
I feel like an older brother kind of like deal, where I may not know everything out here yet and how I should be on the field, but life lessons, like I've been through more than that, so I can help them out with that. I see things from a different perspective, so I try and help guys out like that.
Welcome back, everyone. We're here on Signing Day Live. I'm Kevin Kopp, and we are joined now by Temple defensive coordinator Everett Withers. Coach, thanks so much for being here. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Kevin.
All right. Well, let's start by just talking about overall the big picture. Obviously, some great moments this year for the Temple defense, some moments where this unit struggled, and as you go now into the offseason, in your first offseason back, right, you came in after this part of the process happened last year, so you get a chance to have this kind of first full recruiting cycle as the defensive coordinator. What was your philosophy as you were looking for guys to bring in on the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, well, Kevin, we were really forming from a 3-down team to a 4-down team actually in the middle of the year. And a lot of that had to do with injury. To what we had up front. And so when we kept going and looking into what we wanted to do in the future with the program, we had to make sure we get D linemen in the program. So that was a big evaluation piece for us. We had to reshape our back end, our safety position. And obviously we lost 2 really good linebackers, so we had to replenish that room. And that room had been depleted anyway because we had moved some guys around. So we had 3 areas that we had to get to, and I think we did a good job with that.
All right, well, you hit them hard because this is a signing class that is heavy on the defensive side of the ball, and particularly at the defensive line. That's a great place to start. So let's get your perspective on some of these guys. Let's begin in the trenches in the D-line, and we'll start with Sultan Badmas.
Yeah, great size, great length. We think the guy's going to be an unbelievable player. He's going to be a developmental player. If we get something next year, it'd be great. If not, hopefully in 2 years. But great athleticism. Guy can move around and run. We're excited about him. I mean, he was, almost 260 something when he came in here on his visit, and we think he's going to be a tremendous athlete.
Continuing at this position, how about Cameron Jones?
Yeah, Cam is a tremendous athlete. Guy's got an 18 shoe. Tremendous growth potential. We think, again, a developmental kid, we think that in the future will be a tremendous football player at this level.
All right, a couple guys out of the JUCO level, obviously with some of that experience, and starting there out of Monroe College, Seiku Chroma.
Yeah, Seiku's a very talented young man. We're very lucky to get him. Very flexible, explosive. Think he could be a great 3 technique for us. Does a great job, plays with his hands. Really a football junkie kind of guy.
All right, and then last but certainly not least at this position, another guy out of the JUCO level, and that is Dman Lacy.
Yeah, Dman, again, another big guy. Again, our linebackers will be happy. They're going to have some big guys in front of them for a change. And again, another athletic big guy that can run and, again, eat up space, go to command 2 blocks, and kind of what we needed up front.
All right, into that linebacker group, like you mentioned, 2 huge losses in Jordan McGee declaring for the draft, and Ivandi Rigby, 2 guys that have been so good here for so long, single-digit guys as well. And so, looking at this position group, a couple of guys out of the JUCO level, starting with Tyler LaPolo.
Yeah, 4.0 student, very active, sideline to sideline guy that can run. When he came here on his visit, really sharp, and we feel like he gives us a guy to immediately be able to plug and play and help us because of his football IQ.
And another guy at the linebacker position, that would be Kaden Serin.
Yeah, again, very similar to Tyler, maybe a little bigger, a little thicker, downhill physical guy. Plays with extreme energy, very active. So we're excited about both of those 2 guys.
All right, last, certainly not least, as we move back into the secondary, looking at this group of defensive backs, we'll start with Denzel Chavis.
Yeah, Denzel is a guy that we've been, on since we've been here this spring, and really has stayed committed to us. Long, athletic corner. Again, another developmental young guy out of high school that we feel like that will give us tremendous depth back there.
How about Adrien Lang out of New Jersey?
Yeah, same thing. Adrian's another 2 kids that we kind of saw in camps, not in our camp so much, but in other camps that we went to this summer. and really kind of pinpoint and target those two guys. And very similar guys. Guys can run, great hips, great ball skills. We're excited about those two guys coming in and helping us right away.
And then last but not least, expanding the perimeter a little bit, going out to Oklahoma. Not a usual suspect here to come to Temple, but great to see at the JUCO level, Devonte Owens.
Yeah, again, a little bit of a hybrid guy, can play safety, can play owl for us. We feel like when we start targeting those JUCO guys about mid-season this year, he was one of the guys who was very high on our list. We feel like he'll be an immediate impact for us.
All right, so that's the group of high school and JUCO signees, but there's also a heavy transfer contingent, as we've mentioned as well, particularly for your side of the ball in the secondary. Tell me about just that group coming in, the importance of being able to have a blend of guys with four-year college experience and some of the guys coming in out of the portal.
Well, we felt like we had to upgrade the secondary. We felt like we had to do a good job of really trying to pinpoint and target safeties that had experience, that had played at the college level. What we did not do was necessarily go Power 5 down. We kind of went from lower level up and guys that were hungry. And we felt like we targeted a number of guys. We ended up getting 4 or 5 guys. We feel like there'll be immediate guys that'll help us. And there was an emphasis. We did our coaches did an unbelievable job. Whether it be up front, linebacker, and in the back end, of doing the homework and talking to former coaches, high school coaches, athletic directors, talking to everybody about these kids. So we feel like we're bringing in the right type of kid for our culture, and we feel like we're bringing in the right type of kid that will come in and help us win immediately.
Coach, congratulations to you. Wishing you all the best as we head into, it's just getting started now. You get the offseason ready to go, conditioning, spring ball, and a lot to look forward to. But appreciate you being here today.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it.
All right, that's Everett Withers, defensive coordinator, joining us. We're going to take a break, and we'll come back with Adam Shire, special teams coordinator, to talk about some specialists that will be joining the team. But first, we take a look back at one of the great moments of this past season, and it took place off the field as Joe Klecko became the first Temple football player to be enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
I wasn't going to go ahead and pay. My family was not of means, to pay to go to college, and I was really the first one in my family that would go to college. So I figured, well, I'm going to work, and I went in, I used to drive truck and stuff like that. And one of the fellows that used to help our team was the equipment manager here. His name was John DeGregorio. He talked to Coach Harden, and John and Coach Harden had a very good relationship, and he said, there's a kid out there playing Sandlot football that's better than anybody in your football team. And of course, that perked his ears, and he came out to see me play one quarter, and he offered me a scholarship to go to school.
I also want to recognize my teammates, the Temple Owls that are here today. Go Owls!
From the podium, I could see very easy everybody. I mean, I could see the people in the farthest point where they were all sitting in the second row, and all, my old teammates and all from Temple, and they all had the Temple hats on. The actual moment of it was exhilarating.
To hear him actually give his speech and to mention Temple University, those things are just special. I just couldn't do anything there but just to allow the chills to come all over my body and just smile and feel proud that I'm a part of something special, and we'll never take that for granted. And, I really thank Arthur for allowing me and Joe for allowing me to be a part of that celebration, because it did leave a lasting impression on me.
There's a special thing we're all enjoying here. And I almost want to, tell them all that, not one man does a football team make, and all these guys that I'm going to be here celebrating with, they're all part of it, and that's the best part of it.
Welcome back here on Signing Day Live, and we are joined now by Temple Special Teams Coordinator Adam Shire. Coach, thanks so much for being here. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you having me.
All right. Well, obviously, specialists we have seen, both in terms of true freshmen, in terms of transfers, the impact that they have had on this program in recent years. And this year, no exception, we hope, as you bring a guy in out of the portal from Austin Peay, Maddox Trujillo. Tell me about him, about what you saw, what you were looking to fill there in that place-kicking role, and what he can bring here to the program.
We were looking for an experienced guy for placements and also a guy to help us in the kickoff department, and Maddox can do both. He's got elite accuracy, he's got a big-time leg, has made field goals in some big venues, has kicked field goals in SEC stadiums, so the stage won't be too big for him. Big leg, like I said, had a chance to compete and help us get better in the kickoff department, and really just a great kid. I mean, he had SEC opportunities, SEC offers. He had offers in our conference, and he chose us. Really connected well with myself, Coach Bruno, Coach Drayton. Comes from a great family. Really excited to bring him into the room, and he's going to do wonders for us on the field in 2024, but he's going to do wonders for that room and mentoring our young specialists to set us up for the future as well.
Well, that is, from a specialist standpoint, the only incoming signee, but there is some exciting news in terms of someone who is now on scholarship, a former walk-on. I want to give you a chance to share that news with the folks watching, because that's always got to be one of the most gratifying things you get to do as a coach, to award a walk-on a scholarship, and you got the chance to do that.
Absolutely. Andrew McElwain joined us 2 years ago as a preferred walk-on, and when they join our program, they're told if you come as a walk-on, you earn your spot, and you do a good job, you'll get rewarded. And I was very happy for Andrew. He is a very, very good long snapper. Excited to have him for 2 more years. And as you know, our punter and our kicker are only as good as the guy getting them the ball. So really happy for him, and he's going to become a leader in that room as well.
Well, tell me about overall as we come out of this season now, heading into year 3 for you and for this staff. You get the chance to interact with so many of the different units, different guys on this team because of your role as special teams coordinator. So you get a little bit of a global perspective on it. You know, what are you excited about? What are you looking forward to as we head into the next season of Temple football?
I'm looking forward to January, February. I'm looking forward to creating some mental toughness in this team and really taking that next step, getting better with the details of the schematics, the details of the techniques. I'm not even talking about spring ball. I want to get these guys back on campus, see who we've got, who's going to ride with us, and let's go. It's going to be a fun couple months.
All right, well, we're looking forward to it. We're looking to seeing the fruits of it on the other side, but I hope that you get to enjoy the process, and we wish you all the best as we head into the offseason.
Absolutely. Appreciate it. All
right, that is Adam Shire joining us, special teams coordinator. We're going to take a break and come back with the head coach of the Temple Owls, Stan Drayton, will join us next here on Signing Day Live. But first, we're going to take a look at one of the Temple specialists that has moved on after graduating from Temple with his master's degree, and some of the work that he did, particularly off the field this season. Place kicker Camden Price raising money for the fight against ALS.
Camden Price from 40 yards out. On the Groza watch list this season, he was rock solid last year, and he starts this year knocking that one right through.
It really is cool when I come off the field, and obviously getting points on the board is awesome, but just knowing that, I'm thinking in the back of my head, man, every field goal, that's $150 right there. And really it does just add fuel to the fire and really locks me in, like, hey, I'm not just doing this for me, myself, Temple, the team. I'm doing this for ALS patients and their families. So it really is an honor for me to be on the field and do that. So,
first thing I said as a mission statement here is that this program is, by design, is going to build the whole man. We're here to develop the whole man. So when you have a young man come to you with an idea about an opportunity to not only find a way to challenge himself on the football field, but to challenge himself on the football field to better a situation. All right, a disease that's a vicious disease that is out here that he had taken some interest in. And for him to come up with that idea, I think it's an awesome deal for him.
Welcome back here on Signing Day Live, and we are joined now by Temple football head coach Stan Drayton. Coach, good to be with you. Thanks so much for being here.
Good to see you again, Kevin. How's it going?
Good. Well, how are you? How much sleep have you had in the last week, month, 3 months?
Sleep's not in the equation right now, for sure. We're grinding, trying to put a program together, so we're excited about what the opportunities are for us to get this program going in the right direction, and some great kids that we're involved with right now, and they're going to make our program better, so we're excited about that piece.
Well, just to start, a congratulations to you and the staff. It is a tremendous effort, right? And this is the culmination of it now as we look here on Wednesday night, but there are countless hours and personnel and all the things that go into it. And so, let's start with kind of the state of the program overall, right? Because this is your third signing day technically, But really, that first one, you and your staff were just getting your feet underneath you. This is really the second cycle that you and this staff have gone through. And obviously, there was a big difference from year 1 to year 2 and now going into year 3, just in terms of what you're able to look for, what you're able to demonstrate to recruits about the program here. So kind of how did that inform where you were starting off going into this year's recruiting cycle?
Well, you just can never vacate your footprint. Within the 4-hour radius of this place, there's still a lot of talent that can help the Temple football program attain success. So we really went back and hit our footprint from the New York, New Jersey, New England area all the way down to the DMV. And, we've already had a strong pull out of Florida and Georgia, so we kept that intact. And, we're basically looking for, talent to help fill some voids. Obviously, we went heavy high school a year ago, and those kids got some valuable game experience this year. Some were physically ready to do it, some were physically and not ready to do it, but again, the game experience is something that is priceless. We'll gain from that piece of it. So this year was just a matter of taking a look at our roster, where we need to get better, holes we needed to fill. Obviously, we dealt with some injuries, so we had to, plug and play with some talent from some junior college people who were going to come in a little bit more ready-made from a physical and a mental standpoint. So that's pretty much it. We're looking for, Temple tough athletes. That's never going to change. People who are, displaying leadership, both on and off the football field. These are the traits that we were looking for to try to fill the voids on this football team and take this thing in the right direction. So we're excited about where we are right now. We feel like we've achieved a lot of that. Obviously, this is only one signing day. We got another one coming up, and the state that we're in, it continues through spring ball. We'll still be able to make some decisions through spring ball, and if there's voids that we need to fill, there will be opportunity for us to do it then as well.
Well, you can kind of break it down into 3 groups, right? You've got the transfer portal guys, the guys coming from 4-year colleges. You've got that JUCO contingent, which is much higher represented this year than it was a year ago, and then obviously the high school signees. And so I kind of want to work in that order and work backwards a little bit. When you're talking about the philosophy of bringing guys in that can help advance this program, that Temple tough mentality, it's obviously something different when you're able to see, in some cases, college tape on them and see the work that they're doing at another 4-year school, Power 5, Group of 5, FCS, whatever it may be. How, as we talk about the transfer portal and the role that it plays, which just seems to get bigger and bigger every year in 2 directions, going out and guys coming in, right. How are you able to utilize that this season to help build this class?
Well, the thing is you got to get on these kids early, and still the thing that scares you, and I'm sure it scares most coaches, is the transfer portal doesn't give you a whole lot of opportunity to develop the relationships, to really vet the personality and the character traits of these student athletes, and are they really a fit, for Temple, So I think this year, the one thing that we were able to do is kind of use some connections that were out there for us. We talked to coaches of where these kids were coming from. They were able to give us real good quality information. Being able to bring these kids on campus officially really helps us to, thumbs up or thumbs down on a guy as far as making a decision if they're going to be qualified for the type of roster we're trying to build. So there's no exact science to this. I wish I can give an exact equation of how it gets done, but it is very fluid. But I do think that we were able to really tap into professional relationships that we have out there who are coaching some of these kids that knew their weaknesses, their strengths, and we were able to assess those qualities and be able to make a real educated decision on, if these guys were going to, be the type of player that we wanted to add to this roster. So it's very fluid. Kids are making decisions that are good for them, whether or not they want to be here or not. So like you said, it is a two-way street that way. But at the same time, it does open up opportunities for guys that are out there, even from the FCS level, who are performing at a high level, that may be late bloomers, that are now, Division I football players that we were able to vet and see if they were going to be accessible for us to even recruit, and if they were they going to be a system fit for us, offensively or defensively. So it was good. We had the time to really learn a lot about the process, learn a lot about the kids themselves, and get them on campus and see if they were going to be a fit. So in that way, it was really good, you know. But again, you'll know at the end of the day when you get them on the field and see if they're, you know, capable to play at the level that we want them to play.
Well, you look at some of those guys that came out of the transfer portal last season as part of your recruiting cycle, or even 2 years ago as you were going through the coaching transition, and you look at guys that are now wearing single digits that have come out of the transfer portal and have made some of the biggest plays of this season. When you look back on them, you know, they become Temple guys so quickly, and we hope for that level of success this year as well. Now, in the middle of these groups is this contingent of JUCO, junior college players who come in. They've exhausted some college eligibility. They come in sometimes as sophomores, juniors, red shirts in that mix, but they've got years left to give, and they've been playing at the junior college level. Tell me about that contingent. It's obviously much larger represented this year than a year ago. Why the focus on JUCO and kind of some of the advantages of what that contingent of players can bring as opposed to guys coming straight out of high school?
Well, you know, especially in the trenches, right? When you're talking about O-line, D-line, we suffer some setbacks that way by way of injury, and you're losing some really quality football players by way of graduation who are older guys who are productive for us on the football field, and you really want to replace those guys with experience to the best of your ability. You don't want to get too young, too early in the process where, you know, guys are just trying to figure it all out. So we really put an isolated focus on, you know, getting older in certain positions. We need to get older, more experienced in the secondary. We need to get more older and experience in the D-line and build some depth that way. The same with the O-line. And, you know, obviously we know when you look at the teams that are playing at a high level, that are sustaining success at a high level, they have depth. You know, and I don't believe you can win championships without building depth, and you just want to have a good mix of classification academically that way, to where you're not so young, not so old, but a good mix of both, where you're putting out quality depth out there within your first, second, and third groups is what we're trying to attain.
And then the third prong of that strategy is obviously never going to go away, right? The emphasis on high school recruiting, and to your standpoint, you know, or to your point that you just made, you can't live forever just bringing in juniors, seniors, two-year guys that are going to have that level of turnover. The building blocks of the program are those relationships that you've talked about. And obviously, this is still a really good group of you know, incoming high school signees, the kind of traditional model of signees. You know, tell me about those relationships, because now some of these guys are, you know, 2, 3, 4-year relationships that you and this staff have had the chance to build, and now this is the culmination of getting them to sign their NLIs and come here to Temple.
Yeah, it's a critical piece. You know, you want to sustain success over time, and part of that's development, you know, and you have to be able to get the body types coming out of high school with the right mindset that you bring in your program, and you develop them into the player that you need them to be. You know, obviously we did a great job of that, you know, and also in those positions that we talked about, we were bringing in, you know, some quality high school DBs that if they come in with the right maturity, they're going to help us play right away. It's not like these junior college kids and portal guys are just coming in and earning starting spots. We're creating competition amongst the groups, and, you know, obviously being a program that has played a lot of freshmen, you know, I want to say probably the second most of any other program in the country. You know, they feel like they have an opportunity to come in, and they do. We're going to open up that opportunity for them to come in and provide production as it may fit, you know. But no, you have to sustain, you have to be able to grow old with a large part of your roster, and that starts with high school. And the one thing I can tell you with, you know, portal recruiting and junior college recruiting, there's a lot of quality high school players that are out there trying to find a home and in our footprint. So we have done a good job of vetting those guys out, where the position needs were, and we've really got some really talented high school kids coming in here that we expect to be productive right away for us.
Well, I want to take it back to kind of where we began the conversation, and that is just the work that goes on behind the scenes to make a day like this possible. Obviously, it's a tremendous day for the program. There's so much excitement welcoming all of these new Temple Owls in that we've had the chance to get to talk about and review their film and hear the coaches' perspectives on. Just want to give you a chance to kind of shout out the work of your staff that has made this possible, because there are just so many hours, so many phone calls, Zoom calls, whatever it may be, to make this happen. And obviously it's been just a tremendous lift on the part of yourself and your coaching staff, your support staff, the administrative staff in this building, and a lot of people that have made today possible.
Yeah, we've been grinding, and you know, it's part of the job description. You know, the heartbeat of the program is always going to be recruiting, and if you try to start it only during the recruiting season, you're too late. You know, so the hours that our staff has put in, even during the course of the football season, to make sure that we understood what was coming down the pipe, what was going to be available, traveling back and forth to high schools and junior colleges across the country, and again, talking to, you know, connections that we had out there to help vet these kids and their traits. It's an ongoing process. There's not a whole lot of sleep involved, and you know, but it's a part of the job description. We understand that it is players that you need to make sure that you do a good job of vetting and making sure that you're bringing in quality enough to help us win and sustain championships as we move forward as a program. You know, so countless hours. I mean, a lot of credit goes out to our supporting staff that put on phenomenal displays on our official visits. You know, great organization is required. It's one of the first things that a family is going to recognize when they come on campus. If you're not organized, if you don't have a plan in place for their sons, then this is not going to be the place for them, you know, and especially for the guys who are, you know, portal guys, junior college guys that have 1 year left, guys that have 2 years left. They want to know the plan, you know, and it was real important for us to look even past just the physical traits that we see on film and make sure you vet them in a classroom setting. You know, what is their football IQ right now? That takes a lot of time and preparation, and I'm very proud of our staff and our supporting staff for all jumping in, being unselfish about the job description that needed to take place for us to have success in this recruiting class. And you know, so I'm excited to see what it's all going to turn out to be, but I know it's not going to be from a lack of effort. Our guys really did a phenomenal job of getting prepared for this recruiting season.
Coach, last question for you before we let you go, and that is, now it feels sometimes like a culmination or a celebration, but this really is just the beginning of the signing period. Like you said, there's another signing period in February, and this team and this program has room to grow. There's room on the roster, certainly, to continue to add and to continue to do this. And there's a lot of work that's going to be happening simultaneously behind the scenes, the part of the season that we really don't get to see as much, when these guys are in the weight room, off-season conditioning and all those things before we see you take the field for spring ball and obviously the spring game and all of those points of excitement on the road to the 2024 season. So with that said, what are you most excited about as this program takes another step forward coming out of this signing period into what's next? What gives you the most excitement as you look forward to 2024?
Being able to get these kids in, we have a lot of mid-years that are coming in, and you know, different from a year ago, we didn't have a whole lot of those available to us. So being able to get a large part of your roster in here in the winter and establish the mindset, establish the culture, and establish the toughness and all those things. And like you said, the weight room is going to be critical. We can now develop a plan for the winter that's going to set you up for winning ball games right now. You know, establishing that mindset right now is what I'm most excited about. I'm very excited about the guys who have moved on and left an impression on this program, but you got some new toys that are here now, right? And you get a chance to get around them, establish those relationships, establish a tough type of culture, allow the players themselves to establish a camaraderie amongst each other. We get a chance to do that at a high level this winter, so I am excited about that. You know, we got to go win a ball game in the winter, you know, and that's what I'm most excited about.
Coach, really looking forward to it. Again, congratulations on all the success so far today. Best of luck with what's forward.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
All right,
go
Head
Owls.
Coach Stan Drayton, let's take a break. We'll wrap up Signing Day Live when we continue.
Perseverance is more than a quality. It's the force that drives us to take on pandemics, to dedicating our lives to finding a cure for HIV, to transform the way we learn. It empowers us to challenge norms, to overcome obstacles, to champion social justice. Perseverance is more than a quality. It's the spirit we were founded on.
Welcome back, everyone, here on Signing Day Live. I'm Kevin Kopp. Thank you so much for being with us this evening, and we want to remind you, because obviously you cannot listen to these coaches talk about the future of this Temple program without getting excited. And Temple football season tickets for the 2024 season are on sale now. If you renew for 2024, you are automatically locked in at the same price for 2025 and 2026 when Temple welcomes Oklahoma and Penn State to Lincoln Financial Field. So you want to get on that train now for 2024. You can go to owlstix.com or call the Temple Ticket Sales Office at 215-204-TIXX. I want to thank my guests tonight, Stan Drayton, Adam Shire, Danny Langsdorf, and Everett Withers. I'm Kevin Kopp. Thank you all so much for watching. Good night, everyone.